Welcome to your Federal Retirement Benefits with PSRE, where federal employees just like you come to get the advice and information you need to make the most out of your federal retirement benefits. My name is Jeff Betcher, fiduciary, financial planner, and federal retirement advisor. And today's podcast is actually one of 5 related to the overview of FERS, of the FERS retirement system. It doesn't necessarily matter which of the 5 you watch first. The order is really kind of inconsequential, but we recommend highly that you do watch all 5 of the series. Now, on top of those 5 podcasts related to the overview of FERS, PSRE, we have hundreds of podcast recordings that are available to you related to federal retirement investment or federal retirement benefits. We highly recommend that you subscribe to our channel. We also recommend that you follow and/or subscribe to our newsletter. It really is the best way to stay up to date on all the changes with regard to federal retirement benefits and also how to maximize the benefits that you're going to receive in the future. So again, as we start today's conversation is on FEGLI, what you can do in retirement as a federal employee to maximize your benefits. And also, we're going to be hitting on the importance of identifying a highly rated federal retirement advisor and what you can do to make sure you're finding the right person to help you maximize your benefits. So let us begin. FEGLI, F-E-G-L-I, FEGLI, if you've purchased FEGLI optional coverage, specifically option B, please talk to an expert today. FEGLI option B is the largest life insurance platform on the planet, largest group life insurance platform on the planet. 5 million plus or minus individuals covered by this platform. It's huge. Because of that huge buying power, if you're 35 years old, the cost of FEGLI is cheaper than any other term policy you can get. It's incredible. However, the cost differential between the age of 35 and the age of 70 is in excess of something like 4,000% more. Think about this. From 34 years old, and then at 35 it increases, at 40 it increases, at 45 it increases, from 34 to age 70, it's something along the lines of 4,000% more expensive. That's atrocious. You don't own option B at age 70 if you understand how expensive it is. If you're approaching retirement, let's say you're 50, 55, and you're just on this podcast and you're starting to get some basic information, or you're 65 and you're about to retire tomorrow, if you own option B, click the button below and let's have a conversation, because option B is atrociously expensive. There's going to be better options for the vast majority of people. You're going to be able to reduce the cost substantially. If you're watching this at 45, if you know someone that might be 45 and have option B, if you compel them, or if you speak to a federal retirement advisor, specifically someone that understands FEGLI incredibly well, that person is very, very likely to be able to find a way to reduce your current cost. And then you can use the amount you save to continue to save more for retirement, but they can reduce the current cost, lock in that price tag, avoid the increase in cost structure substantially, or possibly have you moved into a life insurance platform that allows for IRS provisioned, IRS allowed withdrawals, cash withdrawals. I believe it's section 7702 of the IRS code, taking withdrawals from the cash value of a life insurance policy. Oftentimes you can reduce the cost, increase the benefit, and create cash accumulation in your life insurance simply by moving away from FEGLI, but using the same dollars just more efficiently. Life insurance and retirement, if you own option B, just talked about it. For individuals who own FEGLI Basic, what have you, your life insurance program in retirement, there is no cash value in FEGLI. It's straight death benefit. There's only a value when you die. As federal employees are hired, they're automatically, or most are automatically covered by FEGLI. At retirement, people have choices on whether or not they keep their FEGLI Basic. We're going to have another podcast that specifically covers FEGLI. We won't get into the details, but FEGLI in retirement, more often than not, you're better off finding a different option. Depend on the details. Postal employees, for instance, no, keep FEGLI Basic. But for a lot of employees, it's not always so cut and dry. So in retirement, FEGLI in retirement, major impact on how much you're covered for and how much the costs are. So watch the other podcasts if you have some really, a deeper question on that, if you will. So what should you do? As a federal employee, you're watching this podcast, I presume, for one reason. You're looking for knowledge and information. Obviously, this isn't sports scores. We're not talking about the Kardashians. We're talking about federal retirement. And so if you're watching this podcast, if you're this deep into the conversation, clearly you're thinking about how do you maximize your federal retirement benefits? How do you reduce the extraneous and irrelevant expenses? Are there things that we can remove from your life or from the expenses of your benefits to increase your financial security and retirement? Are there things you can do, elections you can make, decisions you can make, boxes you can check on your retirement application? Are there things that you can do that will give you more money or give you a greater level of safety? To both of those questions, the answer is a resounding yes. You can reduce your costs. You can increase your cash flow. You can do all of those things. Now, either you can spend all of your time watching all of our podcasts, and I welcome you to. I hope that you'll subscribe. I hope that you'll sign up for our newsletter. I hope you get all the information in the world you possibly can. I hope that we're beneficial to you in that manner. You can also click the link below or find a federal retirement advisor who's nearby. Give us a call, reach out to us. We're happy to try to help. Again, we have individuals in virtually every state, so we're able to provide assistance to you as you go through the education process. But the question, what should you do? I just gave you probably the single most important piece of advice I can offer. Find someone that you trust and that you like and ask them for their information. You're not expected to have all the answers. Deep, wide, the complexity of your benefits is real. So if you're trying to do this on your own, you got a lot of hours of recordings to watch. I wish you well. I've been doing this for well in excess of 20 years. And so if you're gonna do this for the next 20 days and try to gather all the information, you're probably gonna end up missing some parts that maybe I learned 19 and a half years ago. So folks, if you're doing it on your own, I wish you luck. I highly recommend finding a federal retirement advisor that you can trust, that you can bring that person in and simply ask basic questions. Certainly the basic advice there, but what else can you do? You look for safety. You look for security. You look for solutions that provide guaranteed income. You look for answers that are going to create the cash flow that you need in comparison to your consumption. How much money are you spending? How much money do you need from guaranteed sources to offset that? And if you can't create the guaranteed income, how much risk do you want? How much risk are you comfortable with? Also, look at your TSP. Seriously consider the performance of your thrift savings plan in relation to what you know the market's capable of doing. So depending upon when you're watching this podcast, the market might be going lower, it might be going higher. You might be at an all-time high, it might be at a 3-year low. What you have to be realistic with is understand that the market loses 20% a year on occasion. The market makes 20% a year on occasion. Next year, you have no idea what the year is going to bring. Jerks fly planes into buildings. Interest rates are things that we don't control. Pandemics occur. There's all manner of circumstance that weigh into how the market's going to perform, and all of it, 100% of that, is way beyond our control. So you have to look at your thrift savings plan balance and recognize very specifically that the risk of the TSP is twofold. Do you miss out on the growth? Do you take too much risk and watch your portfolio go through substantial negative fluctuations during bad times? Find the expert, look for safety, look for protection and retirement, look at your TSP and be realistic about what expectations you can have. During great times, it's real easy. Most people get elated about, oh, I made 20% last year. And they forget to realize, well, then 3 years ago, the market was down 20% and they were crying in their saucer of milk. So Don't look at the immediacy of performance and project that out going forward. Look at the immediacy of performance and just recognize that it's one day out of 365 in the year, and it's one day out of possibly 36,000 in retirement, maybe 70,000 days in retirement. So today's performance in the market, not tomorrow's performance. And then of course, and highly important, Social Security. When do you trigger it? When do you take the income? Social Security increases up to your full retirement age, and then from full retirement age all the way up to 70, it increases at an even higher percentage. It increases even faster. When you trigger that election will dictate how much it compounds to in the future. And so there are strategies to substantially receive, or to receive substantially more than others. And so find the expert, look for the guarantees, look for the safety, understand your TSP, protect your TSP by understanding the reality of how your TSP is going to perform, and then determine whether or not you want to roll into an IRA or whatever else. And then of course, Social Security, how that impacts things, how your future retirement, security, safety, what have you, how that's going to be impacted by those elements. Huge. So let's recap. This is just a basic overview. Now we've got a lot of time on this podcast. This is 30,000 feet. We haven't touched any of the major details. This is strictly an overview of some of the elements that you have to be considering. If this podcast hopefully taught you anything, it's maybe to say, well, maybe I need some more information. I hope it did. So this is the beginning of education. I hope you continue to jump down that rabbit hole. I hope you continue to gather more information. I hope that you will use us for that resource. But I also will compel you to find a person that you can talk to that can give you personalized, very specific, individualized advice. It's going to provide value. Find a federal retirement advisor, talk to that person. You're going to thank me for it. Likewise, as I mentioned previously, you can't be certain about the future. The immediacy of your performance in the TSP has no bearing on tomorrow, zero. So you can't guarantee the future. You can't guarantee your spouse is here. You can't guarantee the market. You can't guarantee that you're going to be here. Tomorrow's a new day. And so live today to the fullest, enjoy your life. But recognize that future cash flow has to last for an awful long time. At least you got to plan for it to last an awful long time, because you could live until your 90s or well into your hundreds. So you got to take into that consideration, or take that into consideration. And of course, obviously, you need to be, I alluded to it earlier with regard to stepping away from the portfolio, stepping away from your accounts, and what takes place in the world. The market's going to move, interest rates are going to move, and they don't call you and tell you in advance. It's never going to be the case. And so you need to get as much information as you possibly can, but you need to recognize that you need to be a little bit fluid, because interest rates today, inflation today, I can guarantee you, is not going to be identical to the interest rates in 10 years, not going to be identical to the inflation rate in 10 years. Things are going to move. And so you have to be able to make adjustments to accommodate. Your plan has to be able to accommodate for those uncertainties. Calls to action. Click the link below. Subscribe to this podcast. Continue to receive whatever information we can provide. 2, if you have an interest in talking to a federal retirement advisor in your neck of the woods, there's another button down below. We'd be happy to help. I can put you in touch, or we can put you in touch with any number of individuals who have a great deal of knowledge related to federal retirement expert or federal retirement benefits. They can help you maximize your future cash flow, help you maximize your future benefits, help you receive the maximum amount from your federal benefits as possible. So these individuals can help. So I guess the call to action. So again, thank you for your time today. If you've liked what you've heard, please head over to psreducators.com and remember to like on any and all of your favorite podcast services. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss a new episode. We highly appreciate your help in growing our channels. Thank you again for joining in. I, again, your host, Jeff Betcher, wish you the opportunity to be confident in your federal retirement. Contact PSRE today for any questions. Have a great day.